All right, we have time, I think, for one more question. So, Moni, what is the final question for the day?
The final question for the day is, let's go with Awkward Lad. They're asking, do you think Warcraft is having war being slowly removed from it by the radical pacification of the Horde, their complex peace treaties with the Alliance, and then the somewhat kiddified art style and current writing? Basically, is World of Warcraft turning a little bit more neutral and less complex and interesting?
Yeah. Cool. Okay. It's all gonna depend. So, in a way, yes, the faction warfare is dead, but I think the faction warfare have been dead for a really long time. I don't think many people still sort of trust and believe in the factions anyway. Blizzard have kind of destroyed factions in their own right, just with us having to work together so often. So every single expansion, there's a moment where we come together and we help each other. And if it's not us doing it directly, it's our champions. So Jaina and Thrall working together or whatever, right? So there's always so much crossover between the two factions that we've reached the point now where if you try to sell the general player that, hey, these are your enemies, the general player goes, but why? I don't understand this war, especially people who didn't play Warcraft 2 or Warcraft 3. They will have no idea where this war comes from, right? Because the last time the war truly was in effect was in TBC. And that's obviously how many years ago. So since then we've had faction warfare, but there's always been a sort of working together behind the scenes sort of thing. So yeah, that sort of, in a way, yes, it is turning into World of PeaceCraft because, well, the factions are dead. But I'm also not hating it. I used to hate it. I used to be very much against it. But the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of the factions pulling together, and instead we get a sort of For Azeroth vibe going, because this now creates so many future plot points for stories that the faction warfare would have made more difficult to go by or to go down. So you can now absolutely have cosmic level events happening that isn't cosmic scale. So you can have another planet invade Azeroth and the Azerothian army, aka us, defend Azeroth against this army from another planet that is just coming to Azeroth for resources or whatever because they've destroyed their own planet, right? And it's gonna work as a storyline because we are Azeroth's champions. We defend our home together. And maybe we conquer other homes together, right? So that's something that we can absolutely do. And I kind of like the idea of that togetherness. And there's ways to get around the PvP. Someone in chat said war games. That's, in my opinion, the best way to deal with the PvP. You make Horde via Alliance. You make Horde and Alliance a completely cosmetic choice. So if you choose Alliance, you're going to get armors and gear that is very much centered around Alliance colors, Alliance thematics. Not human or dwarf thematics, but you choose a theme that really builds around what Alliance looks like. And this goes for pets and mounts and everything else. And for the Horde, you do the same thing. And players will choose their faction based on aesthetics and cosmetics. And then the fighting that they do isn't really war. They're not killing each other. They're just wounding each other. They're playing war games. And in these war games, we're keeping ourselves strong for the next battle. And that's why we're fighting each other. And that solves the entire PvP problem right there, right? It stops all of that nonsense in its tracks. It all depends on what Blizzard does next, because the ball currently lies solely in Blizzard's hands. Blizzard can absolutely screw this up to the point where the problems in World of Warcraft sort of continuously is very childish and very sort of PG-13, which I think will have a detrimental effect to World of Warcraft, when all of the problems are basically toddler level problems. Or we can continue to have some very serious issues that arise, and very cruel and evil things that arise that we can enjoy on the same level as what we've seen up until now. Because I don't know if I agree that World of Warcraft have, insofar as you stated, been kidified. At least yet. I can see elements of that, surely. It does seem like Blizzard is downplaying a lot of the violence consistently within World of Warcraft and sort of trying to maybe make things a little bit less jarring. But at the same time, that could just be a decision because they thought that would be cooler. And maybe they have some really fucked up stuff planned in the very near future for us. Right, Guy, by the way, thanks for the first time chat. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel, bro. Thank you. It all depends on Blizzard's decisions. Like, whatever happens next, I think is going to inform my answer a lot more. What does Dragonflight look like? Are we getting some adult problems that we need to solve? Or are we getting some, like, toddler level problems to solve? I don't know what that answer is. Moni, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that like you said, the Horde v Alliance thing is over with.
Yeah.
I still think that that it's definitely still World of Warcraft. It's just now it's turned into Azeroth against cosmic level events, or Azeroth against the, like, ancient enemies thought to have been locked away, like the incarnates that we're going to see, and Galacron for Dragonflight.
Yeah.
I think that it would benefit Blizzard to go away from trying to put artificial tension in the Horde. By all means, still have, some people not trust them, like Tyrande and Greymane and all that kind of jazz. But I really think that they need to stop focusing on causing random political strife just to claim that we had another war. Because I mean, look at BFA. Would you actually call that the Great Fourth War of Azeroth?
No.
Yeah. I mean, it was all... It was like two skirmishes. We lost cities on both sides of the continents. And then it was just... we were attacking each other on different islands between Kultiris and Zandalar, and then all of a sudden N'Zoth shows up. That doesn't sound like a Horde v Alliance war to me.
No, I think I'm also very influenced by my Warhammer 40k endeavors, because I would love a grimdark World of Warcraft. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think grimdark WoW would be so fucking phenomenal. Because it works. It would work so well in the Warcraft context. So maybe I'm influenced there. Maybe for a lot of people, they don't care about that grimdark stuff. They actually prefer that World of Warcraft is a little bit more on the lighter side of life. And if that's the case, then hey, let's hope for a 40k MMO at some point. Because motherfucker, would I play the shit out of that. If that ever came to fruition. Like, oh my god. Anyways, I appreciate the question. Thank you so much for that. And of course, I appreciate all of the questions that we got today. We got some real bangers today. So I really appreciate each and every one of you for coming out and for spending some time with us as we go through the Q&A stuff.